editing is more than just cuts and transitions. It's rhythm, feeling, and how you see a story.
It's timing, it's music, it's editing to the music.
I cannot understand this current obsession with short form content. Like,
Alan, it's you just need to learn it.
the humans are the ones who are running the AI. AI is not the ones running the game.
Because if you just let an AI do what it does, it comes up really empty. We don't need this sensational violence and thrills and quick action. I think we need to also touch on compassion and understanding and speaking to one another. You know, being good. You're doing it for you and how it makes you feel, and that's how you know you're onto something. And if you don't have any viewers, keep doing them, because you're only sharpening your skills anyway.
After a long day of work, your stomach deserves a satisfying meal. But what happens when your favorite pasta goes missing?
What the?
No, I didn't.
You can delete that part now.
Hello everyone, welcome to brand new episode of Far From Home Talks. This episode honestly is special to me. Today's guest is someone who played a major role in shaping the way I do video editing, content creation, storytelling, and creativity. When I was studying at Fanshawe College in Canada, he taught me multimedia production. And a lot of what I know today was sharpened through his teachings, guidance, and feedback, and the belief in my work. He's someone who always supported me even after I graduated from college, and still stayed in touch with me throughout. And today we are going to talk about creativity, faith, growth, and the role of AI in the future of storytelling. So this one means a lot. So welcome to Far From Home Talks, Professor Michael.
Thanks, Alan. I'm glad to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you. I'm excited to have this talk with you. We were supposed to have one before our season at school ended.
This was honestly supposed to happen way earlier.
That's right.
So let's get into the questions.
Let's do it.
First of all, how does it feel seeing one of your former students who now trying to build his own creative platform and still staying connected to this world?
Well, I'm kind of proud of you. Well, I am proud of you, not kind of. First of all, I followed you from the moment from when I met you to when you graduated, to your experiences here in town when you worked a little bit, when you were trying to make ends meet, and to when you went back home.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad to see you doing this again, because you're good at it.
Thank you so much.
So I'm proud of you.
Why do you think I'm so good at it?
Pardon me?
Why do you think I am so good at it? Because I sometimes doubt myself, and when I'm thinking like I should be able to do more. And what do you think?
Well, just like when you were my student, I recognized that you are a humble person. And I think that brings a lot to the table when you are being an interviewer, when you're a presence online. A lot of people think that when you're online that you have to be gregarious and exciting and like flamboyant or whatever.
Yeah.
And you, at the time, you had some insecurities. You thought you weren't a good speaker and things. And I always thought I always thought Alan speaks really nicely. Like he speaks slowly and eloquently. You have a lot of thought in what you say. It's not just blurted out silliness. And then your editing skills were so up to date, so modern, naturally, without even having the experience of how to do it. You still did it, and you did it so well. And then your series that you created was, I don't know, like even as a person from North America who has nothing to do with what you're going through other than being your teacher, I could see that the ways that could help people in similar situations like you. And and that continues onward now with your career and whatever you
Yeah.
do. You know, it's all, everybody's got this journey of figuring life out, and documenting
Yeah.
it and interviewing people and hearing their journeys. It's excellent.
Did you always feel like I would stay in this creative kind of uh, career?
I thought that, like anybody who's in this type of career, it's a tough journey. You have to adapt, you have
Yeah.
to change, you have to roll with the punches. And sometimes
Yes.
there are slow moments where you don't know what you're doing and you don't know if it's going to work.
Yeah.
And we hit these lulls every now and then. I always thought that you had the potential to do it, and I remember reaching out to you, I think probably about 4 months ago, probably now, something where like I hadn't seen your presence online or anything, and I just wanted to give you some
Yeah.
encouragement because you do have what it takes. And I suffer from the same things, Alan. These creative lulls where you just don't know, and you kind of wish, we wonder, should I be doing something else at this point? But yeah, I kind of thought that you would continue with this. You're a creative person, so it's just a matter of time of getting your inspiration, and then you would continue again.
I mean, I was busy with my work, and I was feeling that I was not doing something creatively and personally. Yes, I was doing what I love in my job, but yet still I was not feeling the sense of fulfillment, and I was not content with what I was doing. So I thought I should do something personally, because this is something that I had done, and it gave me a lot of freedom and enjoyment doing that. So yeah, I'm glad I'm back at it. And yeah.
Sometimes when you're working and you start a career, you get caught up doing the boring jobs, and you spend so much time doing that, and you're tired when you come home, and you don't have the willpower or the inspiration anymore, and so you kind of hit that lull.
Exactly. Like someone told me there is a student in our college where I work, and she told me that I have some potential. She sees some potential in me, and that kind of struck me, and that was a driving force for me to come back to this again. So for people who don't know you yet, what first made you fall in love with multimedia, storytelling, and creative work?
Well, like when I was a kid, like I'm talking about days when we first had these little digital high-8 cameras. They were like, the tapes were like this big, and you put them in, and they were little VCRs as well. And I used to, my father, we had one of the first ones. My father bought one, and he'd let me play with it. And I remember there was a Christmas evening where we had the family coming over, my sister with her husband, and I was like, she's my oldest sister's 9 years older than me, so I was still quite young.
Okay.
But I'd document the things, all the events are happening as they were arriving, and then I would rewind the tape, and then I'd go into the bathroom, and I'd film myself in the mirror, and I'd like intersperse right before they came. So here come the boozers. They're the drinkers of the family. They're, and I would intersect all these little segments, and I was doing editing within the camera without any knowledge of how to do it, but I was just experimenting. And I remember that night we showed it to the family by the end of the evening, all the stories I had made of just nothing really. And it was so funny. It was so funny, and it made me feel so good. And it was one of those moments where my father, not that I love my father. My father loved me, and he was so supportive of me, whatever he wanted to do. But he was a father. He was a person who came from World War II time, And
Yeah.
so career was something you had to sort of figure out. Do you want to be an architect or something like that? But he recognized then that evening. He said, maybe this is something you should be involved with. And I remember just
Yeah.
being lifted by having done something on my own that he didn't even see,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then I went to in high school. I took marketing classes, and marketing in high school was different than marketing in college. Marketing in high school was about
Mm.
shadow boxes, advertising, how to do it, things like that. And then my guidance
Yeah.
counselor told me to go to college for marketing, and I took marketing, and it was all economics and accounting, and I hated that. Oh, it was a bad experience, and it took me some years of experimenting with my life. Became a waiter for many years and had a camera, and we'd make videos in Toronto. And I always
Yeah.
had the drive to do it, but it wasn't until I went
Yeah.
back to school for television, for film theory
Yeah.
at University of Western. And then I went to Fanshawe College for television broadcasting because I wanted to work in the field where I could have these tools at my disposal, because like we didn't have iPhones. Cameras were expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Audio equipment was expensive. Lighting was expensive. So I wanted to work in a field where I could use the tools of the place I worked to make movies and television shows and whatever I wanted to do. And that's how I kind of fell into it. I went to television broadcasting, and then I got a job at 3M Canada, global company, 3M, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing is the name of it. And I worked in the media arts department, and I made videos there. And that's where I cut my teeth mostly, got a lot of experience. And that was a 5-year plan, but it ended up being an almost 20-year plan in the end, until they did restructuring, and I was probably the last man standing in my department here in Canada. And that's when I became a teacher, and then started my own
Nice.
business.
So I remember you telling me about your at first like childhood experience of having that camcorder and cassette thing during our last call. I'll tell you about my creative journey. So I started video editing in 2020, and during that time it was COVID lockdown. So I was at home, and my friend who was at the home as well, and he wanted to do something and publish something online. So I helped him in video editing, and he used to just record himself online, and on not online, he used to record something in video, and then he used to send me those video files, and I used to do video editing, and that's how I understood video editing, storytelling, and content creation. But my family was not that keen on video editing, because India is not that at that time in 2020. At that time, it was not that well known for video editing or marketing kind of roles. Yes, in urban cities and like metropolitan cities, you can find you could find a lot of those roles, but I come from a little more rural area. So in this area, people are not that well aware of the fact how video editing and marketing can be a future. They only have those old type of jobs like doctors, engineers, or like construction workers like that. So
Kind of like what I was talking about with my dad.
yeah, so once I went to Canada, and I did something there creatively, and they saw me doing that on YouTube and on my social media platforms. They understood that, hey, this guy, this my son knows something, and he knows what he's doing. So they gave me an open arm to do whatever I want to do because they know that I will do something uh, well in my interest. So
They
yeah,
recognized your skill set.
yeah, they are right now very proud, and they're glad to see me working something in my own field of interest. So yeah.
Mhm. That's awesome. It feels great when your parents accept what you do and are proud of you. Yeah.
As you are a video editor as well, I want to ask you: do you think editing is just a technical skill, or do you think it's actually emotional too?
It's both. It's both. You have to understand it technically, right? How to do it. But anybody can do that part. And that's the
Yeah,
truth. But you have to have the love of it too, to the creation, to want to create something, to want to mold something the way you see it. You have to
yeah,
have a vision, and you also have to understand what people want from you sometimes when they hire you, to give them what they want, but to still give them what you want, but give it to them the way you know how to do it, to show them how you
yeah,
can sell or edit whatever they want you to. Um, you do need a little bit of creativity, I believe, too. And like I said, anybody can do an edit, but they'll do it
yeah,
once and they'll never want to put that time in again, because it can be a long process if you don't know what you're doing,
yeah,
and it's very repetitive sometimes. And I get that with clients too, hand something over and then they have to put it through all their channels, whether it's legal or other people that are involved. And everybody
yeah,
wants to put their little fingerprint on
yeah,
something. And once
yeah.
you start working for yourself and you get to charge for those hours, you don't take it as personally anymore. You're like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
Yes, yeah. Because personally, I have always felt that editing is more than just cuts and transitions. It's rhythm, feeling, and how you see a story.
Hmm. Exactly. It's timing. It's
Yeah.
music. It's editing to the music. It's setting the mood and
Yes.
keeping the momentum going so that the viewer will be involved with it all the way through. And that's something that is constantly evolving. With social media, the attention span got shorter, so you have to grab people in the
Yeah.
first 10 seconds or they'll click away,
Yeah.
those sort of things.
Yeah.
Those are all elements that are kind of new. It's kind of that's the part that I guess my age shows a little bit, because I think it's a little sad, because I like to see things breathe a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
I can edit that
Yeah.
way, and I do edit that way, but for my personal projects, I like to tell them a little bit more slow, not slowly, but just like let people feel it, because I think that's what a lot of people
Yes,
are missing.
exactly. Yes. Same. Like I cannot understand this current obsession with short form content. Like everything needs to be very quick, and people should click within the first few 5 seconds or something. And I get that for business it is required, but to understand, and if you want to feel emotional to the story that you are telling, as you said, it needs to breathe and it
Yeah.
should have some time.
Yeah. And especially when you're talking about social media, if you're creating a channel like what this is for you, it's long form, right? So it's different. You don't have to you, the best way to go about it for people like us is to find your audience. Let them find you too. Do it because you're liking it, not because you're trying to do what the status quo is telling you to do. You don't have to follow those
Yeah.
rules. Everybody has their audience. And I realized that one day when I was just trying to, I had a channel that I started when I was teaching you guys, where I would do tutorials on how the programs work that I was teaching. I still have that channel. Um, and I wanted to grow subscribers, and I'm looking at it. How do I do this? How do I do this? And I couldn't quite work out what I was doing wrong. And I was constantly chasing that carrot, trying to figure out what was the right way to do it. And then I one
Yeah.
day was just searching. I had an orchid, an orchid, and I wanted to know how
Yeah.
to raise it properly. Like how, when they died, when the leaves fell off, is it dead and all that. And I just kind of did some research. I Googled it. I'm like, so on YouTube, I looked up proper care for orchid. And I found this site, and it was this lady. She was probably mid-50s, and she just had her phone, and it was really rough. She didn't put a lot of time into the presentation of things, but she was filming it, and she explained things very clearly. And I was like, oh, okay, I learned how to do that. And then right before I clicked off the video, I looked at her followers, and she had almost 400,000 followers.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
that made me kind of realize, I was like, oh, so it's just a matter of finding your niche. There's so many people on this planet. Like, you don't have to please everybody. There's always going to be somebody who's going to say this is garbage or something like that, and that's something that you
Yeah.
don't have to. You shouldn't listen. You shouldn't. You can read your comments and talk to people that are constructive or something like that, but don't pay attention
Yeah.
to those negative
Yeah.
people, because they're just not into what you're into, and that can be whatever.
Yeah.
It could be a journey of people that are from another country and telling that story. Some people will find that boring, but there's a lot of people that are going to catch on to that. And that could also be plants or faith, whatever, it can be anything.
So, in a world where everyone is constantly creating and posting, what do you think actually makes good content today?
Well, like, it's similar to what we were just talking about, something that you're passionate about. Like every
Yeah.
content creator that I follow, long form
Yeah.
or short form, are people that did it because they wanted to tell their story. And when you hear the real success stories, well, one of my favorites is Casey Neistat. He's slowed down a lot now. He's made a lot of money, and I think he's taken a back burner. But he used to
Yeah.
he was creating videos for several years, and he had millions of viewers. Well, I don't know if he had lots of viewers. He could have been making a lot of money, but he didn't
Okay.
even
Yeah.
realize that he was capable of making money. Like, he was just doing the videos for himself, and his
Yeah.
audience grew because there's a guy who's just having fun. And it's what you're talking about, doing this video for yourself, doing these videos for yourself.
Yeah.
It feeds you, right? It's you. You're doing
Yeah.
it for you and
Exactly.
how it makes you feel. And that's how you know you're onto something. And if you don't have any
Mm.
viewers, keep doing them, because you're only sharpening your skills anyway. And the
Yeah.
viewers are going
Yeah.
to suddenly find you. And so the question was, does it do it? What was the exact question again? Just repeat it one more time, just to make sure I don't wander too far.
Question was, what do you think actually makes a good content today?
Right. There are some people that can just talk to a camera and it's exciting because they're good speakers. And there's other people that do a lot of flashy editing, but it's always who they are, And now it's constantly evolving, like we were saying, like editing, being an editor, music and all that stuff. It's all changing how we can use it. And now we have AI entering the forum, which changes our worlds completely as editors.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't adapt to that, it's going to, my feeling anyway, is that if we don't adapt to that to a certain degree, we will have no role anymore, because it will be taken. But even those AI tools need somebody to drive them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
and the ideas still need to be there.
The humans are the ones who are running the AI. AI is not the one who is running the game. So
Exactly. Because if you just let AI do what it does, it comes up really empty. They're just copying old things that have been done, but they don't capture the essence of what that was about. They don't have that heart that human beings have. But if it's driven by a human being who has a sincere idea or a message they want to contribute to the world, then it can really be molded just like any other way. It's just my thoughts on AI is that it's just broken down the walls and taken away the gatekeepers of what can be done. Like I said, I wanted to go into film production when I was a kid, when I was younger. I wanted to make movies or television shows, and I've always written scripts with a friend. We have a whole bunch of ideas. Now we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's not cheap, but it's not expensive in comparison to what it was. Like now you can come up with a concept for $30 in credits. You can come up with a story
yeah,
that's really entertaining and visually nice, very nice.
yeah,
And I'll say one more thing about AI is that I don't think AI, people are tired. Some people are really against it for certain reasons, and there's good reasons to be afraid
yeah,
of it. One is faking reality if it's for political motives or something like
yeah,
that. The other one is how it's taking away jobs.
yeah,
And that's just, and I'm just talking about in our world of video and content creation or
yeah,
film, but it's
yeah,
also doing it in many other ways. Those little menial,
yeah,
smaller jobs, people that work in a grocery store, people that do customer service and
mm,
things like that, those jobs are being replaced by
yeah,
AI too. And that's more concerning
yeah,
to me than the video end of things, because those people,
yeah,
they want to be, we're bred throughout history to be hunters and gatherers, to be providers. And if we
yeah,
lose that element, that's the scary part, because that's when people get depressed and want to hurt themselves. And I kind of hope that AI will
yeah,
sort of, in that avenue, will actually make us more caring humans, where we can actually take
yeah,
care of each other more in a actual verbal way, because all these other things will be taken care of. That could be helping all these homeless people on the streets. I'm babbling, but there's a lot of ways to look at it positively. It's all not negative, because we've always been changing.
yeah,
You can't be a Luddite. You have to
yeah,
adapt and change. Pandora's box has been opened, and we have
yeah,
to roll with it now. It's just the way it is, and hope that
yeah,
nobody uses it for evil. But
yeah,
in regards to our industry, people who
yeah,
say they're losing their jobs and things like that, because I remember when Photoshop came up with something called generative fill. So
yeah, yeah,
I could, let's just say this wasn't like if I was outside in my backyard, I could film a scene like within the frame of the thing where I'm in there. Then I could take that
mm,
scene. I could either do a circle around me and make a matte painting around me where I'm somewhere completely different, or I could shrink it down to smaller and make the world around me much bigger too. It was it was really
yeah, yeah,
limitless. I remember making a video. It was
yeah,
my most successful video at the time, and there was one guy who was a matte painting person for a film, and he said, "Well, there goes my job." And it's like, well, no, because it was really hard for me to articulate myself to the computer to what I wanted. You're still the expert. You still know how to do it. And if you don't
yeah,
jump into it, then you will fall
yeah,
behind from somebody else who does it. So it is sort of a
yeah,
racing game to stay on top of things. So you're one of the leaders, one of the people. You can always ask AI in the style of this or that, and it will do something, but it won't
yeah,
quite nail it the way as somebody who actually knows and can use the proper terminology. You know what I mean? Like, so, and that goes for any field, I think, for AI. You just have to use the tools for your advantage and make your life easier.
yeah. Prompting makes really good use of AI, like the generative fill in Photoshop. I remember using it for the first time in Professor Elizabeth's class, digital design class, and I was like, wow, it's very easy now to just drag and like make things uh, big.
Yeah.
And I was really fascinated by that generative fill tool.
Yeah. Well, that's the one other thing about AI that that people that create need to understand is that there. I see a lot of people like now I'll just jump over to something past Photoshop where it's video AI, where you can create
Yeah,
more. You have people using people's likenesses, whether they're actors or whatever. I don't like that. I don't even think there's a reason for that, because you can create your own actors now. You can create people that look
yeah,
like that person, but not that person. And I don't mean like certain features, but you know what I mean. You want a Harrison Ford type
yeah,
or a Keanu Reeves
yeah,
type. It doesn't have to look like Keanu Reeves or Harrison Ford, but it kind of I'm trying to
yeah,
point out that you want that style of person.
yeah,
You can create your own easily now. and do that. And the other thing is that people are doing is they imitate scenes from movies shot for shot or nothing original.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's a good way to learn, but you can't be proud of that because that's not yours.
Yeah, exactly.
None of that's yours. And lastly, or not lastly, I can go on forever. A lot of people, they do these fantastic explosions and chase scenes and, you know, even before AI, that was becoming tiring with computer graphics because it was everywhere now, like in commercials and television and stuff.
Yeah.
It's impressive once, and then people aren't so thrilled by it anymore. So if that's your only trick,
Yeah.
it won't work
Yeah.
either. Even with AI, you have to be like an editor and you have to love what you're doing and tell a story.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the little things, like where it just looks real. It doesn't have to be super. It just has to look like a real world. And that's the secret.
Yeah.
You can have you in the AI world. Like you can film your, I could film myself in my backyard and sitting in my back porch here in Canada with no leaves on the trees. Well, they're growing leaves now because it's spring. And I could just film that, put it into an AI program, and I could make it look, without green screen or anything, I could make it look perfect like I was sitting on a cafe in Italy. You know, and doing exactly what I was doing, the exact same video, just replace everything else but me. And that's kind of cool. The things you can come up with there, that's the trick, right? Like it doesn't have to be all space. It doesn't have to be aliens. It can be normal life too, and tell a story that means something, that has heart. And that's, I think, what everybody really wants. That's what I like about you too, man, and your stories. It's because they have heart. And it really, that's what we need. We don't need this sensational violence, and I'm getting personal, my personal beliefs, but I think like we're saturated with violence and thrills and quick action. I think we need to also touch on compassion and understanding and speaking to one another, you know, being good. I think we have this black and white mentality in life right now, as whether you don't agree with me on that, then you're my enemy. You support that guy, then you're my enemy. And it's not like that. You know, everybody, I think, wants kind of the same thing. It's just we're being told that we are enemies by the press and stuff like that. And that bugs me. So I want to spread that message. That's my message to everybody.
Nice. I have more questions regarding AI, but
Yeah, go
you have
for it.
already answered several questions, and I don't want to like extend this more. I just want to ask one question.
Alan, you can go a bit longer. I cleared up my schedule a little bit, so I have a bit more time.
Okay.
So don't feel pressured on speed.
Would you think AI will never be able to replace in a truly creative person? Something that AI won't be able to like change altogether.
At this point, it's the personal touch. You know, I don't want to say it will never replace that. You know, like this could all change, because if you look at what was happening a year ago, it's it's exponential. What's happened? You know, the changes. So I don't know. Like I have a real estate friend who has to work in Italy. His family moved to Italy, but he's still keeping business going here. And I mapped him the other day, just took photos from him, all different angles, and I can make him be in London, Ontario to do a listing online now. And it's just because he wants to still have a presence, like, you know, and I suppose that might be, it's not, I don't know. But it looks like he's there. So what I'm saying is it looks so real. So AI can have that. But I don't know if it's... And I've seen videos where of recent AI device or programs that have come out where the emotions are there too. You know? And I don't know, Alan. I think right now it's about the heart and it's about the
Yeah.
story. That's the thing that's going to change the
Yes.
most, because the visuals technically could all be changed now and replicated almost. I'm not saying it's as
Yeah.
easy as that, because if I
Yeah.
create a scene, I usually have to do the same scene probably 5 times at
Yeah.
least, and then cut that
Yeah.
scene up from those 5 scenes to get exactly what I wanted. And that's where the skills of an
Yeah.
editor still come in handy, because AI will
Yeah.
always screw up along the way, whether it's going to put one person over there and they were over there last time, or all of a sudden you have an
Yeah.
arm coming out of the head.
Yeah.
I wish I had a more positive answer, but I'm seeing a lot of signs that they're like it is kind of scary, but I think it's the human behind it that is the driving element behind it. The idea is really ours.
Mm.
And because even if you work with an AI tool to create a story and you let the AI kind of drive your story, I've done this because I had like writer's block or something like that, and I finished it, and then I turned off the thing and I waited a day and I looked it over and I was like, this sucks. It's empty, you know. Like I said, we really need to be a part of it, and I like using the AI for creativity, as in the sense of sharing an idea and it talks back to me, and I share an
Yeah.
idea back, and then it says something and it
Yeah.
triggers something in me, but I'm always the driving force. I'm always the one saying,
Yeah.
let's do this now. I like that. Note
Yeah.
that, and it will create that way. So
Yeah.
I think that's the element that can't be changed.
True. I also use AI for that purpose, like brainstorming ideas and what can I do creatively with my own idea, like how I can make it extraordinary. Just few days ago, I created an ad for our college, and uh, for that, I had some specific locations, and I just told, "Hey, I am shooting in these locations. Give me some ideas. This is my theme, and this is how the video should play out, and give me a script based on that." And it gave me a good one.
Oh yeah.
After plus two, everyone expects you to have a plan. No, I didn't.
Even when you're interviewing, like one of our projects, I don't think I did it with your class because AI was not quite humming at that point fully.
Yeah.
And I think you guys were even forbidden from using ChatGPT or anything like that. And I think they still are. That's the college's shortcoming, is that they're not teaching this because it's not going away. They are only doing a disservice to the people that aren't learning how to use it properly.
Yeah.
I would say, like, one of the jobs where we would do an interview with somebody. Do you remember that drill? Where you'd have to go and go to a business owner or something like that and do an actual interview and film B-roll and all that stuff. And B-roll, to the people who are watching, is secondary footage that complements what's being talked about. So if you're talking about, I love being here in the mountains, and the person's talking, so you don't want to see them talking the whole time. So in the meantime, you'll cut to the mountains, what they're talking about, and maybe a close-up of the mountains, 3 shots, medium, long, and wide. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I remember telling them to use AI for that purpose instead of having to think about it. Is like, okay, I'm going to a pizza shop and I'm interviewing an owner. What type of B-roll should I shoot? And AI will just spit out a whole shot list of things that you should get. And that's so useful because there's a lot of things that you wouldn't even think about. And it's like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Nice. So how long have you been in this teaching field?
Well, this would be my 3rd year. I'm actually taking a break right now because they could only offer me one class this last semester.
Okay.
And I needed more because I have a business on the side too. And when you're teaching part-time at the college, they only pay you for 3 hours a week, which is not that much. And it's not about the money, because it's incredibly satisfying. And nobody was more surprised than me than when I started to do that. It's very satisfying, like the way people listen and the way you can teach and the way you can inspire and the way you can lift. I just loved that aspect of teaching. It fed me as well as the students. I hope, I loved it. But the reason why is just, it was that 3 hours that they pay me for is actually
Yeah.
because I care about the students and want to create videos
Yeah.
for them to watch so they can
Yeah.
learn or actually grade their work appropriately, where I actually
Yeah.
tell them what they did wrong and maybe even take a
Yeah.
shot of what they did and say, this is how you could have color corrected it, to just show them that it can be done with what
Yeah.
you've done. All that work in a week is probably more around 25 hours for that 3-hour class that I teach.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know a lot of
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
students also said that a lot of that I was one of the few professors that would actually give comment and feedback to their work rather than just a grade with no explanation. And I feel that's
Exactly. Yeah.
something that you need to do when you're teaching somebody, is actually show them and inspire them and teach them and what they're doing wrong, but
Yeah.
tell them what they're doing wrong, but tell them why. What can they do to make it
Yeah.
better? So, yeah. So unfortunately right now I'm not teaching.
From my experience that I have with you, and you are a great teacher. I really I was able to learn a lot from you, from your guidance. I am what I am right now because of you. And uh, your guidance and tips have helped me a lot in my creative areas. So I remember we had a project to create a commercial. So we created a DoorDash commercial, and
I remember that one. Was it the soup or something? It was something. No, it was DoorDash, because you were sharing the meal at the
yeah,
end together.
yes, I
Yeah.
was with Gokul, and Money was filming the whole commercial, and it was he wanted soup or something, and I think he ordered on DoorDash, and then we ate together in the end. But it was funny.
After a long day of work, your stomach deserves a satisfying meal. But what happens when your favorite pasta goes missing?
What the?
No worries, we've got your back. DoorDash groceries, keeping peace in the kitchen, one delivery at a time. Download the app now.
I showed that. I have that video still. I could, if you don't have it, I can send it to you. It's funny. That's one of the ones I would show to my students every year. Like when some of the students do a good commercial, I'll show it with your permission always, right? Like that I would show it to them to
Yeah.
inspire them with ideas. And even if they
Yeah.
replicate it to a certain degree, like, this is how you make a commercial.
Yeah.
It's funny and it sells the product and it's done well. I liked it. Like, you always have to take it with a grain of salt at the stage that you're at in your career, but that was pretty good. It was so funny.
Not just me, our team was really proud of what we created and what we shot and how it came together in the end. A lot of students and young creatives are honestly scared that AI might replace them one day. And I know you have touched upon this already, but if someone asks you that directly, what would you tell them?
AI is not going to take your job, but somebody who
Yeah.
uses it will. It's a bit
Yes.
cliche to say these days, because I know it's been said many times, but that's a good philosophy to know. When I last September, when college asked me to teach, and I said, can you give me 3 classes, because then it'd be more worth my efforts, and I can
Yeah.
get somebody to cover my actual job
Yeah.
and I could oversee it that way, and they couldn't offer it. Well, I had to deny it and denied the employment at the college teaching, and then I fell on the most difficult time I've had in my business, where it was like a big lull, and it was because of what was going on in politics. Businesses didn't know what was going to go
Yeah.
on with spending with here in Canada, with
Mm.
what was going on with the US.
Yeah.
So people weren't making videos, and I was like in a really weird situation, and I was kind of like, okay, well, and I've never been one to sit around anyway. It's never an option for me to be living on the streets, or this is going to be the worst. I'm going to live out of my car. What's going to happen? No, you have to try to come up with a solution. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start learning more about AI. And it's the Wild West right now. It's like there's no real how to do AI teaching out there. So I joined some forums and I started meeting people, and we would share ideas, and it just sort of clicked how to do it one day. I had been playing around with it so often with these people that I was working. Well, I was doing it by myself, but I mean, just sharing ideas and watching what other people did, learning how they did it.
Yeah.
And then I was actually doing one of my own video jobs where I was filming something in a really ugly location, and the person actually said, "Can you make this look any better?" I'm like, "This is video. How can I make it look better?" I mean, I'd be spending hours. People always want everything for nothing, it takes time and money to make a whole video of this one area that looks disastrous with video. So but I also had taken pictures of every angle and stuff, and I was kind of like, I thought suddenly it just went ping, and I learned how to use, because of my skill of learning to use AI, I realized that I could use the close-up of the item that I'm filming and make it look really nice. Airbrush out all the, like with Photoshop or any other, you could do with any tool, but make a starting frame or an ending frame. And then I had the wide angle, and I did the same thing. And I made these rooms look so much better than what they did with minimal things, but just taking the dents out of the walls, the little, those little plugs that you put screws in to hang pictures. I had to remove all that stuff, and I changed the color, and it looked so much more modern. And then with AI, I was able to say, this is the starting frame, this is the ending frame, and this is a 5-second clip. I want the camera to dolly in slowly and come to ease into a stop on this. And and my video looked so much lesser quality to the one that I created with the AI. And it made me realize that, okay, this is still me doing the work. Like AI didn't create it all for me. I still came up with the movements, the ideas. I fixed up the room the way it should look. Alan, it's you just need to learn it. You need to get with the times, because if you don't, you will fall behind, because there will be somebody who will. And I feel like, and since that last quarter of last year and my quarter this year, business is booming because of the skill set that I have now. I can now do things that I would require a huge crew with. Now I can do it by myself. It's not easy, but it's a lot easier than it would have been with even a big crew and filming everything and then going through hours and hours of footage. I might spend a lot of time at the computer running various prompts and trying to get it right. But like I said, you get all these little bits of video, and it's almost like you have multiple cameras then, because you can pick the best scenes out of every one and you edit that together. And that makes a beautiful cinematic video. So anyway, I don't know if I rambled too much there, if I answered your question. I think I did.
Yeah, you did.
Good.
I personally have some gripes against AI. And I know from your conversation and from the fact that AI is not going to go anywhere, and I know I should try to make it a more of a friend rather than keeping it as an enemy. So I should try to incorporate AI into more creative side of things. So I know I need to learn some things and about AI, and I know AI, but how I can implement it in video format or creativity.
I know you used to use like a few moments later, those type of things. You could create those cutaways, new versions of them with AI easily. Come up with something totally out of your imagination and have it create something, and then you've got something unique and different than anybody else, and create your own trends.
സ്റ്റോക്ക് ഇതുവരെ വന്നില്ല. ഇനി ഒരാഴ്ച കഴിയും പുതിയ സ്റ്റോക്ക് വരാൻ. മോനൻ വേറെ കടയിൽ പോകുന്നതായിരിക്കും നല്ലത്. അയ്യോ ചേട്ടാ, അങ്ങനെ പറയല്ലേ പ്ലീസ്. എനിക്ക് നാളെ പരീക്ഷ എഴുതാൻ പോകാനുള്ള ഭയങ്കര അത്യാവശ്യം. ചേട്ടൻ അവിടെ ഒന്ന് പോയി നോക്കിക്കേ. ചിലപ്പോൾ അവിടെ കാണും, ഒരെണ്ണമെങ്കിലും കാണും. ചേട്ടൻ ഒന്ന് നോക്കിയിട്ട് പറ. അയ്യോടാ, അത്രയ്ക്ക് അത്യാവശ്യമാണോ? ഞാൻ നോക്കട്ടെടാ, ഞാൻ നോക്കിയിട്ട് പറയാം.
12 seconds later.
മോനെ, ഒരു മാസ്ക് കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. പക്ഷേ അത് സാധാരണ മാസ്ക് അല്ല. മോന് ഇത് മതിയോ? ഇതും വേണം എടുത്തോ? ഓ താങ്ക്സ് അങ്ങളെ, ഉള്ളത് മതി. എന്താണേലും അത്യാവശ്യം. വളരെ നന്ദിയുണ്ട് കേട്ടോ.
7:59 a.m.
അയ്യോ 8 മണി ആയല്ലോ. തോമസ് ആൻഡ് ഹിസ് ഫ്രണ്ട്സ്.
I'm really. How do you remember that I used that few months later? And all?
Because that's what I liked about your videos, the way you were utilizing trends and incorporating them in your videos. I remember everything. I remember you stood out to me.
You remembering my transitions, and it's I'm really glad to hear that.
That's what made you stand out to me.
Okay, so next thing, I want to talk to you a bit personal to you and me, because over time I have seen your growth as a creator and educator, but also your growth as a person. In our call on 1st April, you told me about your experience getting baptized and how it shifted your thinking about faith. So I wanted to understand that side of your story too.
Sure.
So baptism is often the outward expression of something much deeper happening within. So what was unfolding in your life and heart before you took that step?
Okay. It was probably just, I'm 54 now, but I was probably 51 years old when I was downtown just filming, like taking some photography so I could use it in my class to demonstrate framing and things like that. And I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. At that age of 51, my kids are at the time probably 14 and 16. They're now 16 and 18. And at that point, you become a little bit more invisible to your kids because they're becoming their own selves. They're all about their friends, and you're not their favorite person, even though you haven't changed at all. And it's the thing as a parent that you understand someday is that even though you're trying to help them, they see it as you're trying to tell them what to do. When that's what you've been doing all your life for their lives is teaching them how to be. And it doesn't mean that you don't understand that they're older. You're sometimes just offering a suggestion. Maybe you can do it. It's kind of hard to stop at first, just to be like, okay, I got to let them do their thing. At the same time, my wife was a closer role with them because she's mom. Moms are always closer. Well, not always, but mostly moms are a little bit more closer with their children. So in turn of that, I also was a little bit more distance with my wife. And I also was working from home after many years of having a job at 3M.
Yeah.
My old job, 3M. And so you don't have as much human contact, right? So life had become a little bit lonely, you could say. Like it kind of felt that way. Teaching, I think that's one of the reasons why I love teaching so much, is because it was fun to be a part of everybody else's life, and you guys wanted to hear, and you wanted to learn, and that was a big thing for me. But I was downtown, and I was taking pictures, and there's a church that the doors were open. I didn't even realize it was Sunday, and I just walked up, and I said, can I go in and just watch? And the guy said, yeah, you can go and have a seat. And I sat down, and it was a Catholic service, so it was very the formal type, with the very formal. And I was just sitting there. I always enjoyed being in churches, not because I was religious, but I just like the history, the way it looks, the way it makes you feel, the history, and
the calm environment.
Yeah, exactly. But most churches at one point during a service, they'll say, now take a moment to look around and greet your neighbor, and I remember that was the part that gave me something that I hadn't had in so long, and that was like making eye contact with somebody and them looking at you and smiling and shaking a person's hand that you don't know. It really made me feel happy. And I decided that day, I was like, you know what? There's something about the community aspect of this that I really want to be a part of. I want to understand it. But I knew that kind of church, even though there's nothing wrong with that kind of church, I wanted something a little bit looser, like something that was a little bit more, I don't know, just something that felt a little bit more me. So I tried several different churches, and then I found my church is a Christian church, a non-denominational church, but it's, I knew right away that was the night. Like, everybody was so nice, and people listened, and I would listen to the stories, and even though I wasn't fully wrapped up into the truth of it at that point, I loved being around these people that did, and I loved that everybody was there for the right reason, and that's just to be good.
Yeah.
That's what I saw in it. What I was talking to you about before, about being good and being positive, and just, that's what I got from being there. I was like, there's something about this place that makes me really happy when I'm here. And I would always listen to the service. I always listen to the service, not in the past tense, but when I get to the car afterwards, I have usually worked out something that's going on in my life based on what was being taught there. And that might be the brilliance of the Bible, is that you can relate to almost every story in a certain way.
Yeah.
And I was going to get baptized a year later, because the first time I went to that particular church, it was a baptism thing. And I remember being kind of really touched by it and thinking, this is awesome. Like, these people are like in love with this. I want to be a part of this somehow. But I had a meeting with my pastor, and we went through all the motions, and everything seemed to be in the right place. And then he asked me, do you believe that Jesus is the Son of God? And I was like, I don't want to start this off with a lie or anything like that. I said, I believe God. I believe in God. And I said, I believe that Jesus was a person, and a wonderful person. And I believe he existed and all that.
Yeah.
I said, but I have some difficulty with the belief that he might be the Son of God. And I said, I hope that doesn't offend you. And he goes, no. He goes, it doesn't offend me at all. In fact, we can work on that. But he suggested that I held off a bit from getting baptized until I felt maybe a little differently. And then like 3/4 of a year went by. And I remember there was just one day, just kind of went click in my head. It was the love in the room. It was the looking at the other people, how they believed, and me justifying it in my head, and also looking at history and the reasons for, because I'm kind of like that. I kind of need to have a little bit of fact, because we don't see the miracles that you hear about in the Bible. You know what I mean? Nowadays, hopefully someday. I've had my own little personal things too, but since then, and the strongest reasoning for me to believe it was that all the disciples that followed Jesus, the 12 disciples, I think 11 of the 12 all died in horrible, horrible ways because they would not deny that he came back. He was not resurrected, And I was like, that's pretty hard to not believe. If all he had to say was, oh no, it's a sham. No, he and there's still I still question things every now and then, but that's healthy faith, in my opinion. You can have blind faith, and that's fine. But I sometimes have to look into history, and sometimes I'll meet with my pastor and I'll talk to him, and it's just, if you can have moments of questioning things and then come out on top, it's almost like going through a depression, and then coming out of that depression, you come back twice as strong, and you feel so good. So when I got baptized, that was a wonderful time. Yeah, when I finally did, I was there for the right reasons, and it was very touching. And I wanted people to know, and I like daily, I think I share the message to somebody in a subtle way. I don't want to be somebody who rams something down their throat, because I just want people to understand that the church isn't what people think it is because of some bad people and some historical things. It's like saying every German's a Nazi, or what I mean? Like, it's everybody's themselves, and it's a good place. And from the starting point of community is one of the, for a non-believer, is one of the best ways to get incorporated, to just see that these are just people that just want to be there for the right reasons, and that's just to be good. You're not talking about politics, you're not fighting with people. And if you talk to somebody after or before church, they're listening to you. They want to listen to you.
And in last podcast, I had a guest whose name is Aditya. He told me something while we were talking, that my passion for creating and editing videos and all. My passion channelizes to other people. That's what he said to me, and that made me realize how I can impact other people through my work,
Yeah.
and how it can change some people's lives. So it sometimes passion and faith can turn good things great.
Mm-hmm.
uh I cannot explain that, but yeah,
I think sharing your perspective on life inspires other people. May not do it for everybody, but your select group that wants to watch your videos will be inspired by that. And I'm actually in the process of creating a channel that's doing just that. That kind of touches on the story I just told you, as well as other things, because all my life I've always wanted to tell stories, and I found all my stories were more along the lines of I'm not saying like Good Will Hunting, because not that story, but something that is
yeah,
growth and shows and feels good when you watch the story and
yeah,
you see purpose. And I've always had trouble with the script writing, but at this point in my life, I don't have trouble with the script writing, but it's coming up with something that's that you can go with for a long time.
yeah,
At this point, I have enough life experience that there's been enough ups and downs along the way.
yeah,
And when you're going through the ups and downs, it sometimes feel like you're going nowhere. You go there and then you go
yeah,
down again. You go down, up and down, up and down. But when you pull back at this point in my life, even though the ups and downs, it's a line upward. You know what I mean? There are dips if you zoom
yeah,
in between there. It's like a stock almost. But you're going up, you're
yeah,
learning, and you have so much more experience, and you've learned how to deal with things. And what I want to do is share some of those stories, some of those
share that
messages
experience. Yeah,
to
yeah,
inspire other people who maybe just need a boost. I'm not doing
yeah,
it to make. I'm not doing this channel to make money. If it does, that's great. but that's not my
yeah,
intention. It's like what I was talking to you about before. I want
yeah,
to do something for me, and something that's
yeah,
meaningful, and something that I want to do weekly, rather than something that I have to do. That's the secret to your earlier question as well. How you can be successful
yeah,
at whatever you do. If you're doing what you want to do, and you don't need to rely on it fully financially at first anyway, then your audience will find you and you will inspire. But my message is more about making people feel better about things if they're in a low spot, or inspire them to become something that they want to be through my stories. And it's not just all inspiration. Sometimes some will be funny, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just I just want to have fun with this channel. It's called The Reluctant Optimist, but it's not out yet. It will be soon.
I want to end this podcast today by asking one fine question that I ask my guest, as that is my main question for all the episodes. So, what does actually home mean to you? Whether it is physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually.
Home is where your family and friends are. I know this because I moved out to Vancouver in '97 with my wife, and we made friends with an Australian couple. We lived there for a year, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
But they were on a sabbatical, and then they left, and we were back to square one. And we could have made more friends, but during that year, we also realized that we missed our family and we missed our friends, and we really wanted to be near to them too. It's not necessarily I'd rather be around the people I love and travel to the places I'd like to see. And like spiritually, that's exactly where my heart is with my family. I'm a loving person. I want to be around people I care about, and I want to be there for them and have them be there for me as well. I understand a younger outlook of wanting to blow your hometown, get out of there, and do your own thing. I did that. My son is in that stage now too. He's 18. He's going to be going to university next year, and he may be going to a place 8 hours away, 6 hours. It's probably not that far away, Kingston from London, but it's far with the traffic the way it is. It's not like I could just drive there and be there in 10 minutes. And he told me when we were in the car the other day, he goes, I'd like to go to Western. That's the local university. And he's accepted to that. He says he'd like to go there, and it's really good school. He goes, he just says, I'd rather go there if I didn't live here. And I told him, I said, well, if you're going to university, you're gonna stay in residence the first year. You have to have that experience. That's where you make your friends and stuff. So you won't be living at home, but we'll be nearby. And he's like, it's different. It's different. You guys it's home still. And I'm like, well, I think you haven't understood what it's like to be on a university campus yet, where you're a part of it. It's your own world then. So I hope that answers your question. I think home is where your heart is.
Yeah.
And that can change anytime. When you have a family, you can move somewhere, and I don't know. Because there's times where I wonder myself, why am I in this city right now? Because it's not the nicest city sometimes.
What do you think about London City?
Like, this is a town I grew up in, and I've loved it all my life. But even when it was good, I wanted to go and do my own thing like my son. But right now, London's a bit of a mess. There's a lot of homeless people, a lot more than when you were here. Like, it's huge. There's a lot more drugs. You see a lot of people on drugs in the streets. And it's this town in particular. Like, London's one of the worst in London, because during COVID they brought a lot of the homeless people here and dropped them because we were going to have all these facilities for them to be helped. But I don't know, their methods are good intended, but it just didn't work out that way. Now we have problem of crime and things like that. So I have hope, though, that it's going to get better. I do.
Yeah.
And I love this town, and it's always nicer in the summer. In the winter, things look ugly.
Yeah.
No leaves. When the leaves come out, everything gets better.
It is about time that you will get really hot summers.
Exactly.
And it's now spring, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting probably around 20. We're getting up to 20 degrees now, so it's actually getting warm. It was a cold winter, a long winter.
Anyway, I want to have the more conversation with you, but we have a time limit, and
sorry.
This was such a meaningful conversation for me.
Me too. I just hope I didn't talk too much.
We are here to talk, and I am here to listen to you, your thoughts and your ideas and your opinions, which are valuable to me. Mm-hmm. So, Professor Mike, thank you so much, not just for being here on this podcast, but for being someone who genuinely poured your heart into students like me. And a lot of what I do creatively carries pieces of what I learned from you. So this conversation really means a lot.
Thanks, Alan.
To everyone watching or listening, if this episode spoke to you, if it made you think, if it encouraged you in any way, make sure you share it with someone who needs it. Before I wind up, Professor, do you want to say something in the end?
I want to say thank you to you as well. You feed me equally, and I'm glad that I have helped you in any way. That's very meaningful to me, and that's kind of all I ever want to do, is help people along. And hey, man, I love you, man.
Love you too, Professor. This is Far From Home Talks, Season 2. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.